Welcome all. Allow me to present a friend to many around the Rotary world, Evan Burrell. He's time traveled to us since it is tomorrow already in Australia. He is Rotary Zone 8 Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator and as a digital media consultant in the not-for-profit community sector. Evan has expanded his skills to educating local professionals, businesses, and community groups across Australia and around the world. One of his focuses is on the practical use of social media and how to develop it to brand and market their stories. Evan is an accomplished public speaker, MC, trainer, social media advocate, and hardworking volunteer for over 20 years of volunteer experience with Rotary International. You may recognize Evan best as a service-minded superhero. You see, Evan, for him, it is easy to be a Rotary hero because as he sees it, all Rotarians are superheroes. And we need to promote heroic acts we do in the community and around the world.
Thank you, Tari. Thank you for that that lovely introduction.
I still got more to say to you.
Oh,
though,
really?
Right?
Okay.
Oh, the Jack is awesome.
Yeah.
So in whatever way, Evan is proving that Rotary isn't all business. He's messaged us to let's have fun in Rotary. And with that message, he's engaged in telling Rotary's digital story. Welcome, and now over to you, Evan.
Indeed, I am. Well, thank you kindly. Well, welcome to, good morning to you all in the northeast of the United States and Canada. Thank you very much for having me back for a second year in a row. Look, it's great to be here at midnight. So without further ado, we'll start my presentation. And there we go. Beautiful. So my name is Evan Burrell. I'm from, if you can't tell by my accent, I am from the land down under, Sydney, Australia, District 9685. And today, Presidents, I am going to talk to you about how to tell the Rotary story, public image, social media, all these sorts of, logos and graphics and things will be spoken about today. So hopefully you'll be putting on your thinking caps and taking something away from this presentation. So let's get started. When I talk about Rotary, to the public, there's some sort of public perceptions of Rotary. So people who might have a familiar idea with this or a bit of a vague idea, or people who might not know, but the people who sort of have an idea about Rotary, these are sorts of the things that they think of. So the first thing is that we're an organization made up of old white men. Truth hurts. But here's the first step. When we're old and stale and not vibrant and all that sort of stuff. That's the first perception. The second perception here is that all our meetings, we meet behind the gates of Jurassic Park. So if this is your entrance to your meeting venue, where you have your luncheons, perhaps it might be a good idea to think about moving somewhere else. That we're a secret society. Honestly, people think that we are. We're all part of the sacred order of the water buffalo or whatever it is. The next perception is that we're an organization that just eats chicken dinners. We're just obsessed with food. Everything's food centric with Rotary. Our next is boring speakers. We have speakers every single week in, week out. We're all about speakers. We're all about big checks. Now, this is a huge perception of ours, and this kind of is true. Like, we do dominate the market in big check presentations. We're also a bunch of singers, particularly in the United States. I brought this up at a Rotary graphics group that I manage. It's not so big in Australia, but certainly in the United States, we love to sing. And some people might think we're a barbershop quartet. And then the other one is that we're not a religious organization, but we certainly are, to some quarters, a little bit obsessed. So, clubs that do the prayers and whatever else. Now, some of these perceptions are true, some of them are half true, not true. As presidents, it's me telling you to think about these things and how you do your clubs. So to get away from these perceptions, we need to start making some bold statements about Rotary. we got to be passionate. Okay, we have to be passionate. This is how people will respond to our love and passion for Rotary. If people see us out in the community being passionate, they're going to want to know more. And it's very easy to do. It's extremely easy to do. Wear your pins. Show you wear your pins with pride, or your bumper stickers on your car, or your badges, or wear t-shirts. Give polio the finger, 4-way test. And wear cool t-shirts too. Like, one of the big things that I focus on with branding and public image now is trying to sort of break away from the stale image of Rotary with the old sorts of, the old membership shirts. Wear something cool. Rotary rocks. We're people of action. This is sorts of stuff that people respond to. Or you can go all out and get yourself a Rotary. This is not my costume. I wish I had this, because I would wear the hell out of it. But I'm sure Rotary International would flip if they saw this out in the street. But this is from a Rotary club in the Philippines. But it certainly would generate an impact. I thought my jacket generates an impact, but this costume certainly does. But to be passionate and to show all this stuff off, and to reach this market, this new market, we've got to use social media. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you are already on social media and have an understanding of it, use it, all the rest of it. But think about this from your club's perspective. Okay, social media is where it's at. But with social media, though, it's not just about the like. Okay, it's about creating a positive story. So a positive story is about us, is about what we're putting out on social media. Asking questions, that sort of thing. So when people ask me, either online or in person, what does Rotary do? I simply say, we help people. It's what we do. We help people. It's what we do. You see, stories create action. People see something posted by your club on Facebook, they want to click a like, or they want to comment, or they want to, find out more information. Stories create action. So we have to be storytellers. And we are people of action, so we've got action stories to tell. We need to tell Rotary's story. It's incredibly important, because we can no longer hide ourselves under a bushel. Just for example, about end polio, we see all the good works that Rotary and Bill Gates and the Foundation and everybody else is doing in the world for polio eradication. But when you look in the newspapers or on news, Rotary barely gets a mention. So it's important for us to really push and tell Rotary's story. And it's up to us. It's not up to the media and other people to push that. It's up to us. You see, this is where the conversation is happening. Right now, 1 billion people are on TikTok each month doing dances and other stuff. 1 billion people are on Instagram sharing photos. 3 billion people are on Facebook each month. This is where the conversation is happening. This is where our clubs need to pivot themselves if they would like to gain new members, potential donors, people interested in our organization. So let me ask you, who would you like to see what you post on social media, and why? Are you just posting it for your club members, so they see it every week or whatever else like that? Or are you putting it out for an external audience who want to know more and learn a bit more about Rotary, who might want to join the club, might want to donate to our causes, or both? Just think about that. Are you putting out for your clubs, or are you putting out for potential new members? I would probably gravitate towards both, but with a 60-40, 60% for an outside audience. So if you still have some people holding back on social media, and I'm not asking you as club presidents, incoming club presidents, to get everybody on Facebook, that's not what I'm asking, but what I'm saying is get club buy-in. You've got to sell your club and be clear about the benefits. So have an open dialogue. If you tell your club members about this, social media is too big to ignore, and it truly is. Be clear about the objectives from your club's perspective. It's bringing awareness to your club. It's bringing awareness to Rotary as a whole. And we can contrast that with other media. So, you can say, when was the last time your Rotary Club was featured in your local community news or newspaper, or, when did you last see your club on television or Rotary or anything like that? So explain the benefits too. So it puts a face to Rotary. Okay, puts your face. Strengthens the club ties, builds support, and supports recruiting. And that's incredibly important. People are usually, when they see your club, if they see something out in their community and they want to know more, they'll Google you. They might check out your website, but more than likely, they'll definitely check out your social media presence. So with that, you've got to get into a campaign mode. We've got to have campaigns, we've got to have things to talk about. And something that I came up with about 2 years ago, which is called Be the Good. Believe there is good in the world. So it's a bit of a tag. You hit a winner when RI says, hey, we've got it, people of action, don't stop doing this. But anyway, it's not like me to, to go against HQ. But be the good, be the good. And it's appeared on, fronts of cars or on T-shirts. But more importantly, Rotary Club there in America put it on these massive billboard that was by one of the highways. So people saw that, be the good. Yeah, I'll be the good. That's with Rotary logo, and they want to check out more. It's about having a campaign, and it can be very small. It can be just a small club campaign, or it can be embracing the People of Action campaign. And which sort of the campaign that was a little bit older now, but was sort of part of this shirt that I'm wearing, was the Rotary Superhero, and something that really tapped into the zeitgeist a few years ago, when all the sort of Marvel Avenger movies and Superman, Batman, people have an understanding of superheroes and everyday heroes. And I feel that Rotarians are everyday heroes. A hero is an ordinary person doing things in an extraordinary way. Now, of course, we're not like Superman. We're not rescuing cats out of trees. Unless your club can pull that as a fantastic fundraiser, then go for it. But we are ending polio. We are transforming the lives of our community and our international community. We are connecting. We are connecting with people in our community. And it's these connections that really make it worthwhile being involved in Rotary. It's a superheroic act to make those long-lasting connections. We inspire people. Truly, after I've been now in Rotary, in the family of Rotary, for 23 years, and I'm always inspired by the people I see and meet and all the good works that we do. We empower people. Just think about all the opportunities that we give to younger people through RILA and Rotaract, Interact, Youth Exchange, even our regular members. We empower people to change the world. And that's a really super heroic thing that we can do. And more people need to know about this. Really, this is we don't have a membership issue if we went out there and actually sold our virtues and then have fun. And that's really important. You can see me having fun outside the front of the Rotary building there. I'm not allowed to jump there anymore. Apparently it shook the foundations too much. So moving on, we are all Rotary heroes. We all Rotary superheroes. We all have that inner superhero, and we take off our glasses and get out of our secret identities. And when the call comes in, off we go and help save the world as Rotarians. And it's with this campaign, this tapping into people's inbuilt knowledge of what a hero is and all the rest of it, that it's had achieved some really great public image success. For example, here's my friend, past District Governor Noel Jackson, aka Captain Rotary. I'm not sure what sort of super serum he's got, but probably Rotary is running through his veins. But he took on this idea after seeing me dressed as Rotary Superman, and made his own costume, and as a hit was in his district. But he used it as a public image campaign. So he created his own comic book and sent it out to districts and other places and told stories, and there was crosswords in there and great stuff about the district. So it was quite a good public image campaign. But with social media, and this is really important, and write this stuff down now, social media is a visual medium. So no longer should we be posting on social media without having a photograph or a video to go with it. See, inspiring images, they get actions. You get the likes, you get people interacting. A graphic that I made a few years ago with the open road, where will Rotary take you? That open question. We're all on that different journey going to different places, but where will Rotary take you? You are the missing piece. When we're selling out to our potential members, you are the missing piece that our club needs. So we need to tell a great visual story, whether you're with exchange students or ending polio, or you holding a fish above your head. This is one of my favourite photos. It's from the Rotary Club of Woolgoolga here in New South Wales in Australia, and they have a pelagic spearfishing competition each year. Obviously, well, not through COVID, but the Rotary Club gets all the fish that's caught, and then they auction it off. But what caught me with this is, why is there a Rotary guy holding a fish above his head, and why is there a 12-foot tall Indian man looking like he's about to kiss it? So these are sorts of photos. These are the sorts of things that you want to put on social media that captures people's attention. People are going to scroll past, well, what's this all about? And they find out, they might want to know more. They might want to participate. They might want to come along to your club. And anything, sometimes even a bad story can have some benefits. So this from the Rotary Club of Whitstable in the United Kingdom. So these sorts of Rotary articles, very rarely do they appear on BuzzFeed, but with this headline, a Rotary Club president accidentally bought himself a GIMP suit for a charity swim. Well, considering it's about 8 o'clock or so in the morning where you guys are, I wouldn't be Googling GIMP suits. I'd steer clear of that. But it turned a very sort of awkward story into a positive, because it got a lot more of a larger audience because of the awkwardness of it all, but it generated some great fundraising ability for this guy's club. He raised more money than he would have done otherwise. So he's turned a bit of a frown upside down and ran with this. Now, I'm not suggesting you as club presidents go out and do this sort of stuff, but just think of it, you can always turn a bit of a negative into a positive. So here's a couple of quick hints for what you're putting up on social media with your photographs, the do's. So always make sure you've got happy people. People respond to happy people. If your club members are not looking happy, then I wouldn't put their photo on social media. Try some different photo angles. Lots of lights, bright smiles. Digital cameras never run out of film. So if you've got someone who's a bit of a budding photographer in your club, you might be able to deputize them as the official club photographer, or even more importantly, you might be able to reach out to some photographers in your community and actually pay them to come along to your events, get them to take professional photographs of your events, and you can use those photos as collateral for when you're posting about your club, into the next year. You can edit the pictures, steer clear of the cliches, like the big checks, all that kind of stuff. Find some interesting subjects. You might not have a fish above your head, but I know there's a Rotary Club in Annapolis that has a crab fest that they've been running for 90 years or something. So maybe you can hold a big crab above your head and find the hook. Pardon the pun there. So, these are the sorts of photos, whether you've got Darth Vader coming along to your club to speak about the 4-way test, or whether you're ending polio at the bottom of the sea, whether you're jumping out of a shelter box, or whether my friend Steve in the corner there with one of his other club members, and you know how hard it is to find club presidents. I know there's probably a few of you that have probably become club presidents second time, third time over. I know it's getting desperate when we're getting the babies in to become our presidents-elect. It's dinging the bells. It's getting hard. We know this. But what I don't want to see on social media is photos like this now. Just a typical club meeting, the backs of people's heads. Okay, no one cares. No one cares. So as my friend would say, stop it. Stop it. Don't do it. Stop it. The same with this. When we all got into Zoom land. Now, some clubs might still do Zoom, starting to, obviously we're on Zoom now, but, taking screenshots of the Zoom. And I think when I see these photos appearing all the time, I think, geez, oh, gosh, this looks familiar. Oh, what was that show that I watched as a kid? Yeah, The Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. Here's a story of a lovely Rotarian. So, okay, if we can move on from this as well. These sorts of things aren't appealing as much anymore on social media. And again, come on, the big checks. I literally put into Google Images, Rotary Club big check presentations, and I was hit with like hundreds of photos just of the same old thing. So we need to think of new ways of doing this. Stop it, don't do it anymore. Who honestly pays by check? In Australia, everyone's just tapping their cards on the little terminals, or no one's even paying by cash anymore. No one's certainly not paying by check. So maybe something like this, if you can pay with your iPhone or something like that, it's a sort of an outside the box. So think about something like this. Actually, this would be quite a good idea for most clubs. if they could sort of invest in something like this and make it so that you're able to modify who the money's going to and the description, that sort of thing, you know, just with a, you know, maybe like a little not a permanent marker, but what do they call it, a Sharpie or something like that. You know, don't change the weather charts or anything, but you can utilize that on one of these sorts of you know, phone printouts or something. The other thing is that we love to give awards. We love to give awards in Rotary. And doesn't my friend Gay look like she is ecstatic to receive this award, the highest award in Rotary? And she looks like she's you know, she's had a real good time receiving that. So when we get presenting awards to people, we need to make them feel special that they've received this award. So, you know, not just taking a photograph of somebody standing in a line holding a plaque or holding a trophy or whatever. You know, we need to make them feel a little bit special. It's just taking that little bit of extra time to showcasing something fantastic and you can put out on social media. So we've gone from an image like this and boom, it's a little bit better. You see, we've just taken that time to get them to, you know, come in for a little bit of close-up shot, showcase the trophy, a nice big smile. It's a much better, much more engaging photograph. And these are the sorts of things that are going to attract more attention on your social media pages. So here's a couple of the don'ts. So this is what I don't want to see you guys posting on your club's pages anymore. So blurry photos. The top photo up there, it's literally a photo I took from a club's Facebook page. You couldn't even tell who's there. All I can tell is reds and blues and yellows, and that's it. And then the photograph in the bottom, you can't miss Rotary in action. Well, I certainly have. One guy looks like he's fallen asleep. So with the don'ts, you know, these are the things. Don't put anything out of focus. Don't put photographs of people eating, the backs and bums of people that don't look like they want their picture taken, pictures that make no sense, bad backgrounds, and people not doing anything. We can't say that we're people of action if we post up photographs of our club members just mulling around. Okay, so steer clear of these. And always, 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 always have trust in the person who's running your social media pages for you, for your club, but always double check before you post. I did make a visit to the Rotary Club of Ass Valley. The rump steak was delicious, but I tell you what, the chocolate pudding, I'd give that a miss. I'd leave that out. Yeah. But look, make sure you double check what's going out on your club pages. Now, of course, as club presidents, you've probably got millions of things. You're not going to be able to approve everything that goes out. So have enough trust in if you've got a social media committee in your club or a dedicated person to, or 2 or 3 people actually to look after your club's assets. That'll be fantastic. Now, of course, I want to quickly talk about this. Now, this guy is Steve Jobs. We know that. And so what Steve Jobs is doing is he's launching the new iPhone back then in 2007. So he's launching the campaign. And what are we up to now? iPhone. I'm a Samsung user, Android. So what are we up to now? iPhone 50? I don't know. But each year, as we know, there's a new product that comes out all the time. Companies are always putting out new products or having new campaigns to bring awareness to their business or whatever else like that. And Rotary is exactly the same. You might not think it, but I'll show you. The annual theme. The annual theme is literally a campaign launch each year, and the product is us as Rotarians, and the campaign material is the president's theme. So either serve to change lives or be the inspiration. Rotary opens opportunities. Rotary connects the world. Rotary making a difference, or imagine Rotary. And you've got to think about how you can use the incoming annual theme as a way to promote your club. Use it as a talking piece. Use it because it creates buzz, creates interest, conversation. It stimulates the Rotary economy. Now, I know there were people who'll say, oh, they waste so much money on pins and badges and blah, 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 blah. But what you may not realize is that money from the pins and badges and all the rest that gets sold to all of us actually goes back into Rotary International for them to fund projects and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it actually does help us. And it gives us as particularly incoming club presidents, it gives you a focus to work towards that year. So, for example, the club here the Rotary Club of Gisborne. They used it, serve to change lives. Rotary clubs are reminded of the service's main theme. So they created that to get an article in the newspaper. So just think about the potentials of Imagine Rotary as a way for you to get a little bit more media exposure for your club. Imagine Rotary. Imagine you being a member of a Rotary Club. Imagine you can change the world. Imagine Rotary. Think about it. It's a product launch. It's a campaign launch for us. I've got a few minutes left here, but I want to shoot through some real quick things. So you recognize this: 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese on a sesame seed bun. Me being an absolutely massive fat man that I am, I definitely recognize the Big Mac, which has gotten smaller, let me tell you. Anyway, I digress. So we know McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's started in 1940 by the McDonald's brothers, stolen by Ray Kroc. But McDonald's has changed over the years. The logo has changed over the years. And of course, Rotary is not immune to that. Starting in 1905, or when the logo came out in 1906. Now, of course, the colored ones you've seen quite often, and the new Rotary logo. When I say new, I don't know if we should necessarily say something that's 9 years old as new anymore. This is the Rotary logo. So what I'm saying to you is, club presidents, check your collateral. If you've got websites or online things that are still showing the older logos, you can change it. Okay, simple. If you still have old t-shirts or old banners or things like that, look, if they're like 10 years old, maybe it is time to get some new stuff. And then, of course, you've got to insert the club name here to give your club identifier. And I want to talk about that. I'm not a fan of Club of. Rotary Club of. For the research that I've done, I've found that club has been a bit of a deterrent for people. Feel it's a little bit exclusivity, that sort of stuff. Now, certainly in Australia, a lot of Rotary clubs are known by their geographical location. So, for example, Rotary Ashgrove The Gap, which is in Queensland, or Perth Rotary, which would obviously be in Perth. Now, of course, there's Sydney Rotary, and then there's Sydney Cove Rotary. My club, for example, my club isn't not really known in the wider community as the Rotary Club of Turramurra. We're just known as Turramurra Rotary. So think about that. Think about how you might be able to, I understand there might be a number of clubs in the one area. You can't call yourselves this one name, but just think about how you might be able to sort of modernize that a little bit. Now, of course, there'll be people who say, well, we have to call what's our name, what's on our charter, and blah, 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 and RI and this and that. I get it. You do what you feel is comfortable. I don't want you having fist fights in your club about it. But look, little changes, little things, it might make the difference. Now, even my friends aren't immune from me telling about the Rotary logo. This is me pointing out to Alexis that her tattoo doesn't meet the branding requirements. Alexis told me in no uncertain terms what I can do with a Rotary chicken. We'll leave it at that. Certainly wasn't finger licking good, and that's for sure. Now, moving on, we've got to get our house in order. So if you have signs out in the community, like if you, this is in my district. Now, look at the state of this sign. I mean, people driving past, and there's probably thousands of cars driving past this sign every day. Thankfully, it has been removed. But you look at this and you're like, geez, if this is what the Rotary sign looks like, what does the club look like? Lions aren't doing any better. Look at the Rotaract Club there. So old stuff, if it's looking old, it needs to be updated and modernized. I mean, luckily this club had an archaeologist as a member. So they dug through all the sand and all the rock and they found the old Rotary sign. So it desperately needs an update. So, and this is very easy to do. So this is the club in my district, the Rotary Club of Northbridge. So they had their old sign there, meets the Northbridge Rotary Golf Club, blah, blah. See, what they did is they updated it. So they got a new sign printed with the Rotary master brand signature at the bottom there. And then the wheel of excellence, as it's called, is the main wheel, is the main draw card. And then most importantly, they put their website address down at the bottom of the sign. So cars will be going past there. They'll see that. People will inquire. So maybe take some collateral of what you have or what your club is showing in the community. If you've got like your sign up on, if you've built a sensory park for people with disabilities and you've put your club name on that, go back and see if that needs a bit of a branding refresh. Put some money or take some money out of your budgets to kind of improve your outward facing image. easily to be done on social media, even easier to do on out in the public. But remembering our brand is us, Rotarians at Work. This is our brand. So if you want to know about things to post, more what sort of stuff is going to connect with people? How's your content going to cut through everybody else's? How are you going to get the eyeballs on your club's activities without people just scrolling past to the next thing? So here's some content ideas. Talk. First thing is you've got to talk about Rotary. Talk about Rotary. I'm going to push this next slide. I'm really going to make it obvious, plainly obvious to you. You've got to talk about the club. You've got to talk about Rotary. I talk about it all the time. So much so that if I was kidnapped, people would take me back because they would be fed up of me talking about Rotary. People are like, oh my God, this guy. I talk about Rotary so much that if I got a penny, I would have a lot of pennies. Okay, so we've got to talk about Rotary. Talk about your club's key activities. Does your club run a car show or a bike classic or fun runs? What does your club do? What is your activities that your club does each year? Something for you to talk about. Talk about your club's projects. Do you have a water project in Guatemala? Are you doing something with maternal and child health? Are you doing something with Shelter Box? Or are you doing something with girls and young mothers? What is your club projects? People actually want to know about this stuff to know more about your club. Talk about the connections that your club has to your local community and businesses. Don't be afraid of giving, if the local business is giving your club a helping hand with something, don't be afraid to give them a bit of a plug on your social media channels. So say, for example, the local mechanic donated a car or something, or some free mechanical, whatever, give them a shout out. Joe's Mechanics, thanks so much for helping support our club again this year for whatever project that we're doing. Talk about the connections that you have to your local community and businesses. Actually, we'll refer back to that previous slide. There was one thing that I think the gentleman's name is Joseph Wasowski or something in the United States, but he's doing a sort of an award for police officers and fire, people who work in the fire brigade and ambulance, and it's like a sort of a emergency services award, and it's like a rotary wheel with a little looks like a medallion, a military medallion kind of thing, but it's quite a good project, a good way to recognize those who serve in your emergency services there. And it's something similar that we do in Sydney. We have a police awards where people in the state that I'm in vote on police officers who've gone above and beyond the duty, and they get recognized by Rotary each year. So I'm just looking at my time. I'm really running out, so I'm going to be real quick now. Talk about your club's diverse membership. There's definitely some Muppets in your club. Showcase them. Give them their 15 minutes of fame. Post them up on your club's social media pages. Talk about the areas of focus: environment, conflict prevention, disease prevention and treatment, community economic development, maternal and child health. If you've got nothing else to talk about our areas of focus. Talk about diversity. This is really important. And this is something that I feel. Talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So for me, it doesn't matter whether you're an alien or disabled or rich or poor, whether you're a superhero, whether you drive a car, whether you've got two mums, or a normal nuclear family, whatever. We need to include everybody. Everybody is welcome in Rotary. Everybody is welcome in Rotary, no matter who you pray to, or if you pray at all, who you have sex with, or what you eat or whatever. Everybody is welcome involved, because everybody can do good in the world. It's also about making it personal too. So talking about yourself, whether like I'm painting over graffiti or attending a peace conference, or putting a End Polio Now shirt on my cat, Emily, which was not easy to do, or this little good boy with his own little End Polio shirt. Showcase your pets. People love pets. Put them out on your personal social media pages. Ultimately, what I'm saying is, I want you to talk about you. I want all your friends on social media to know that you're serving as club president for the year, and that you're going to be talking about Rotary and what you do for it and what you get out of it. Show your pride on social media. Tell people you're a proud member of the organisation. See, for me, being in Rotary, it gives me a sense of purpose, a reason for being, a reason to do something, because I know after 23 years, I have definitely given someone that helping hand that's improved their lives and improved the lives of others around the world, thanks to Rotary. It gives me a sense of purpose. So I ask you, do you have a big heart for Rotary like I do? Just a couple of quick social media tips. Tell your story with the pictures and make them appealing. Don't overload your page. So don't post 5 times a day and then don't post again for another week. You know, just in the mornings and evenings are a good time to post. Encourage your members to buy into your social media posts and share their stuff. Get some assistance. It's always important to have about 3 people running your social media assets for your club, not just one. Create a social media strategy for your club. What actually do you want to do? What are you wanting to achieve? You can schedule things at different times of day. Be mindful about what you post and always make sure you keep it positive. Increase engagement by being responsive. So if people have written some comments, reply back to them. Lastly, have fun. Showcase the fun elements of your club. So tell your story. Use the correct branding. Use the proper logo, Rotary logo, and use social media. So how can you help with all this public image stuff? It's not the public image director's job in the district to run it. It's not the public image director's job in your club to run it. It's all our jobs. We are all the key to Rotary's public image. Because when Rotary started in 1905, we were the original social network. Paul Harris and his friends got together because Paul was lonely. He wanted to meet people. We are the original social network. And remember, my friends, in Rotary, there are no strangers, only friends we haven't met yet. Now, I'm not sure you're all going to turn your head, but learn to look at things from a different point of view. Don't just do the same old, same old. Learn to look at things from a different point of view. So if you are on social media, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to answer questions or send messages or whatever. I'm on Instagram, Changemaker Evan Burrell, Facebook, Changemaker Evan Burrell, and TikTok as well, Changemaker Evan Burrell. And lastly, that's all, folks.
So Evan, thank you for your time and so much fun.
No problem. Sorry, I ran over.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. We love it. The assistant governors are looking forward to a continued session. So you guys are in for a treat, assistant governors. So think up some questions now. And now over to you, Alexander Falk, for some instructions.